Yo, what's good with y'all, man? What's good with everybody in the chat that's already been waiting in here? I think we had like 6, 7 people already waiting. What's up with y'all, you guys, man? Had to bring on one of the most, this guy right here didn't help so many channels, and you guys don't even know, man.
Yeah.
And you guys don't even know. It's the boy, Icy Nate, man. Introduce yourself, man.
What up? My name's Icy. Yeah, I used to just talk in Discord all the time, and then I ended up starting a Instagram, like a Raiders Instagram page, and then I got motivated to start a Raiders YouTube from Andy and Graph, so I just did it, and straight up I did it.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And shout out to all you guys who just support his channel. My boy just hit 500 subs, man. That is a huge milestone. You're halfway there, bro. Halfway there.
I need like 600, right? Like
I think you need 500 to be able to go live, but YouTube takes a while to really what's it called? To like give your channel the okay to do certain things. It's kind of weird. But hey, man, we got about 12, 15 people in here. Let's talk about this defensive line, man. So we got a lot of things to talk about when it comes to this defensive line. Like, this defensive tackle group that we have right now, specifically with the three techniques, is loaded. There's a lot of stacked, talent competition that's going to be with this three technique room. There's only about two guys that can really play that one technique and clog up those holes and get those double teams. But what you think about this, man?
Yeah, I think we probably need more like nose tackle depth, but yeah, the three technique room is pretty solid. Like we got guys that could start, and then we got guys that could be versatile, like at defensive end and get after the quarterback. And I think there's gonna be like at least 2 to 3 guys that are re-signed in the room, like maybe Irving, maybe Vickers, and then potentially Darius Stills could take that spot. You never know.
Yeah, man, dude, I am so excited with what we have. Like, we finally have a good problem when it comes to our defense. Like, now we have so much depth that it's a good problem to have now. Like, we have not had this good of a problem in a while. Like, now we have, where's Carl Nassib gonna play? He's probably on his way out. Might be getting a trade partner with that soon. Hopefully. I mean, we have a couple of Leos. You got Max that could be a Leo, possibly. You got Yannick that could be a Leo, obviously. That's what he is. And then Malcolm Kuntz, recently drafted, 100% is gonna be a Leo. But if I had to say in our normal base 4-3 under, if I had to give a starting four right now, one side I'm getting Cleveland. Other side, I'm getting Unique. Three technique in the middle, David Irving. One technique has to be Jonathan Hankins, man. What would you give it?
Yeah, I would do Yannick, and then Clee on the other side, and then Hankins, and then probably Irving. But if it was Pastures down, probably be Jefferson, because he's actually good against the run too.
Yes, he is. And that's the thing. Jefferson made his money with the Seahawks as a three technique. He made his money as a three technique, then got signed to the Buffalo Bills, and they said, he played a good amount of one tech over there with the Seattle Seahawks, and they kind of made him try to do that full time with the Bills, and he was kind of being played out of position. And I mean,
underside.
It's fine. It's fine because he's still got his money. He's still got a contract here with the Raiders. But maybe this year we really see him maybe full time trying to go back to the three technique, or really rotating in with the whole situation with that one technique. Because really, right now, we really have no competition with Jonathan Hankins when it comes to that one tech room.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he doesn't have anybody behind him that could take over. Maybe we just go in the draft next year and get another one tech.
I think that's why a lot of the Raider Nation wanted us to get a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson. He's a true one tech. But I believe he's signed with the Vikings, right?
The Vikings, yeah.
So, he was a true one technique. That would have been cool to have a guy like that. But I mean, this defensive tackle room, when it comes to the three techniques, we got Solomon Thomas, Kendall Vickers, David Irving can really play across the whole board. You have one of my favorite players that we got undrafted in Darius Stills. We have a lot of talent when it comes to that defensive tackle room, and a lot of these guys, not only one thing are they going to be trying to fight for starting jobs, but they want contracts, man. I mean, Quinton Jefferson is kind of closing in on the end of his career. I mean, David Irving wants to prove that he still got it. Solomon Thomas has a big chip on his shoulder from being that what, third overall pick with the Niners and having a real bad season with an injury, getting ended with an injury last year. I mean, you got Darius Stills, who looks like this dude is super hyped to be a Raider in general.
Yeah,
so
good ass hands, bro.
I like it, man. I like it. As far as he says something sus is going on in Las Vegas. What do you mean by that, Daniel? What do you mean sus?
What does he mean, bro? I don't know what he means.
Sus. But let's see. All we need is for the players to show up, and we will be fine. And that's a fact, man. I mean, dude, if we can get one player to constantly, I like that at each level we've kind of added a good veteran presence, right? On that defensive line, we got Yannick Ngakoue, a good proven guy in this league, right? I mean, he's proven. I mean, he's what, second when it comes to forced fumbles on sacks and all this kind of stuff. So we have a good veteran presence there. I mean, when it comes to that linebacking room, I mean, Corey Littleton and Nick Witkowski are true veterans at this point. And we just picked up one of the best signings of this offseason. We got Casey Hayward. I really like that we have three good veterans to teach each level of the football to guys in the game. And then, got Ron Miles, got Richard Smith, and we got Gus Bradley. I mean, we are in a good position to really win some good football games, man.
Yeah, I think just the position coaches, bro. Like, we got better position coaches. It's gonna change everything. Like, bro, last year with Paul Gunther, we had like shitty linebackers coaches and DBs coaches, and then we just didn't do anything. Like, we didn't develop our DBs right, and they had bad technique, and they couldn't tackle and miss tackles, and that just ruined our defense overall. That's why I think.
Yep. And this right here is a very, very good question right here from shout out to my boy Ray the Tape. I just got your message on IG, bro. I mean, if I had to think right now, I have Carl Joseph as somebody who's on the chopping block, right? I have Carl Joseph. I get it. We just got rid of Jeff Heath. He will still be on this roster. But if I had to choose who I would want out there as that rotating free safety in and out, I would rather it be Gillespie. But the thing is, Gillespie is more versatile than just a free safety. That man is a very, very, very good just overall player, right? He's a guy who played a good amount in the slot as well. I mean, he won't be a slot for the Raiders, but he played in the slot. He played a strong safety, free safety. I mean, he had himself some career games in his college football career, and I really like Gillespie. If I had to choose, I would rather him be rotating in and out with than Carl Joseph if we were to have, a free safety rotating. But we also have to remember, Casey Hayward does have a lot of experience in the system playing free safety as well. I mean, Gus Bradley utilizes his guys to their max potential, and I like it, man.
He used them at strong safety too. I think when it was rundowns, he usually uses them there because he's a great tackler.
Yeah, I mean, I just like that we have a lot of, like I said, we just have a ton of depth now. And then shout out to Wi-Fi Willie. He says, do you think Littleton is a sure starter over Morrow in the nickel? In my opinion, if we're in the nickel defense, yes, I do. Because Morrow, let's be honest. When it comes to Morrow, yes, he had a phenomenal season last year, and he was one of the bright spots on that defense. But when we're talking about Littleton has proved it in just a competent system. He's proven that he's a good guy. He's a good player. So do I believe that Littleton in the nickel will probably start over Morrow when we're in that package, in that sub package? I really do. Do I think it's a sure start? I don't know. I think there's a lot of competition, right? I mean, who knows? Morrow is probably on the chopping block in himself, trying to fight to compete with Divine Diablo, who is someone I am really, really high on and glad that we were able to pick up. Let's see. Says John Gruden, Mr. Limelight hasn't done a presser in how long? Mayock did a couple after the draft, but somehow is making their hair stand up on the back of my neck. By the way, I can't hear Icy. Oh wow, that's weird. But let me touch up on this. And shout out to Junior R for the $6 donation. He says, "What do you think about Max Richardson, the UDFA?" The thing is, it's really our only other middle linebacker on this roster besides Nick Wachowski, right? I mean, Nick Wachowski, I mentioned this in my video yesterday. He has nobody that's pushing him to really be on his toes, right? There's nobody that's an interior linebacker on this roster right now that's really pushing him. As far as Max Richardson, I mean, he's a guy like I mean UDFA, right? Really fighting to find a role on this team, right? And I do believe that he'll probably end up making the roster because I mean, let's be honest, we need some good special teams presence, and I believe that he could probably do it in special teams. But as far as Max Richardson being a linebacker in this system, it'll be tough for him because this system relies a lot on that front seven, and linebackers, you know, they have a lot to do with the success of this team. And Max Richardson, you know, I like him, but I feel like we need to add maybe another, you know, cheap, maybe on the back end of their career free agent that, you know, and a good veteran that has experience to really push or maybe just teach Nick Wachowski, you know, more things on how to get better. I mean, that's what we preach all the time, right? Competition makes the best out of players. Pressure makes diamonds. All this kinds of stuff, man. And competition, we love it when players have to compete for their jobs, man. And let's see. It's to decide. The only thing I see Morrow knows the system. Morrow, the thing is, though, is that Morrow doesn't really know the system. I mean, he only knows however much he's been studying since Gus Bradley's got here, right? This is a new system. It's I mean, it's new for everybody besides guys like Yannick, Casey Hayward, and, you know, guys that have came to a similar defense from this. Like, I'm sure it doesn't change much on the defensive line, but Quentin Jefferson has been in something very similar to this. So is Corey Littleton. I mean, he came from a true 3-4, but this 4-3 under has a lot of similarities when it comes to that 3-4. But what do you think? What do you think, IC, when it comes to our true pass rushing situations, like third and long? I'm talking about third and like 12, third and 13, second and 15. Who do you think those 5 guys will be out there? Or who do you think those 4 defensive linemen will be out there? And what positions? Oh, we can't hear you. Let's see. Besides from Yannick, who are, in your opinion, has the best defensive player we have? Let's see. We can hear you now, so go ahead.
Yeah, pass rush downs, it would probably be Yannick, and then Crosby on the other side, and then Farrell inside, and then David Irving in the
middle. I like that. So y'all hear that, man? When it comes to those pass rushing situations, how about what do you think it'll look like when we have 5 rushers out there all at once? Because there'll be times where we're gonna have 5 rushers out there.
Probably be Kuntz next to Yannick, or it could be like Klee at 5 tech, and then Yannick on the other side, and then David Irving in the middle, and then Quinn Jefferson probably.
Yep. I mean, we have to realize it, right? In this system, when we do go with that 5 down lineman, kind of looks like a bear front. I believe that maybe a versatile guy like David Irving will be the guy smack in the middle, right? I mean, he could play head up on the center with no problem. He's extremely versatile on that defensive line, man. And when it comes to the other guys, I mean, like you said, I could see Yannick and I can see Kuntz maybe next to each other, or maybe Kuntz and Cleveland next to each other. But we have a lot of talent when it comes down to these pass rush specialists. I mean, we have a couple of pass rush specialists on this team. You have Yannick, you have Crosby, and you have Kuntz, right? Kuntz is yet to prove it in this league, but I believe that Kuntz has a lot of upside, and I'm really excited for a guy like Darius Stills. And shout out to Agent Red. I believe he says, what about Darius Philon? I don't think that with the amount of 3 techniques that we have on this roster, I don't think that Darius Philon makes the cut, man. I do not believe that Darius Philon is going to make the cut. There's too many guys that have similar traits or are just overall better than Darius Philon. I mean, I know that he had a good contract before exiting the NFL for a while, but I truly just don't see Darius Philon making the roster over Kendall Vickers, right? I do believe that Kendall Vickers will be a guy who can probably really make that roster, you know?
I don't think he wouldn't make it over Vickers. He's probably the only way he would be on the team is like practice squad, in my opinion.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean,
no.
It's tough, right? It's tough. Let's see. David Irving is going to be so good, bro. I'm hyped to watch him suit up in that silver and black, in better shape and well conditioned. Exactly. That conditioning is going to be key for him, right? I mean, he said it himself. In his career, he was just going out there purely off of his pure talent that he felt he had, right? His pure athleticism. He said that he never took, in terms of training or conditioning, he said he never took it serious, right? And he said that he was able to compete with those guys because, he's been playing football for some years. So he was in decent enough shape to compete. But this guy, David Irving, man, he's looking real, like motivated to really make himself be a felt presence out there, man. Let's see. Shout out to Raider Bro. I do believe that Raider Bro has a IG page. Maybe he also has a YouTube that he's starting up, or maybe there's just the page that he uses. But shout out to Raider Bro. He says, "Who do you think is the best player in our secondary?" I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
The best secondary player would probably be Trayvon Merrick if he proves it. But if Abram also proves it, then he would probably be the best player because he makes the impact on the run and the pass. Like you can stop tight ends, and then Merrick's just back there roaming.
Okay. I was also thinking of Merrick, but like you said, he's a guy that needs to prove it, right? But my guy was gonna be Jonathan Abram. I know that he gets a lot of flack because worst graded safety in the NFL, all this kind of stuff. You got to think about it, y'all. He made a good amount of plays last year, 13 to 15 yards away from the play, right? He was playing free safety. He had to run 15 yards before he could meet the ball carrier at the line of scrimmage, right? I mean, he had to be real far away from the place, and he made a lot of plays still. I mean, we saw it against the Browns. We saw it against the Bills, absolutely just wiping out people. We saw it against week 1 against the Panthers, right? He was really killing some guys out there. Christian McCaffrey, he hit McCaffrey maybe twice, 2 or 3 times real hard. And those were all from 15 yards away from the play.
That was a single high, bro.
Yeah, this year he'll be 8 or 7 to 8 yards away from the play at all times, and he'll just be able to hit people that much quicker, right? I really do believe that Jonathan Abram with him just being in the comfort and believing, and hopefully he believes in Trayvon Merrick that can really cover that back end. Hopefully he doesn't worry too much about that, and he can just go out there and be himself. Let himself be free, and just go out there and do what he does best, and that's hit people and make plays.
Yeah, got Ron Miles, the best defensive back coach in the NFL.
One of them at least.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kevin J says Abram is the best secondary player in my opinion. Mullen is a beast, but I think people are sleeping on Abram big time. I do believe so as well. I mean, Abram is going to be very, very close to a field general with this defense, right? I mean, he's going to be able to just scan the field, make a play off of his instincts, right? And it's tough to do that because I mean, all the guys that came before him in the system were all greats. I mean, Cam Chancellor is a great. Derwin James has a chance. I mean, he has the talent to be a great. I mean, now you have Jonathan Abram that, he needs to put it out there, right? I mean, we got a lot of free safeties. We have a lot of strong safeties. Like I said, Tyree Gillespie is a guy who can play strong safety. I believe what is he, 6'4"?
He was 6 foot, I think, right?
6 foot. Who is the
It was what is his name? What's his name? Divine Diablo. He's 6'4", I think, right?
Yeah, Divine Diablo is about 6'3" and like 226. Definitely could play the box if he was told to, right? I mean, he'll be a will linebacker in the system, as he said it in the presser, and so did Mike Mayock. But it's tough. It's tough. Let's see. And shout out to Luis. He says Morrig is going to be the most versatile player we have had in our secondary. With his length and speed, I think that Merrick. I mean, I'm just happy that he slid down somehow to pick 43, and we were able to snag him up. I do believe that he'll be our guy for years and years to come, man. I'm just glad we have somebody that can be a ball hawk back there. And then
in the secondary, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Merrick, this secondary is looking good, man. The secondary is really looking good. We've had a lot of back and forths. Who do you think is our cornerback one? Who do you think is our cornerback one?
Yeah, it's at first it's gonna be Casey Hayward, but later on it's gonna be Mullen probably. because he's gonna teach the system for a few weeks, so no mistakes happen. Because like what's it called? Then we cut that guy named Amukamara, and he was gonna be the guy that was the bridge for Arnett, but it never happened. Like he would have guided this secondary, I bet you, if we had him. So yeah, it's probably gonna be Casey Hayward and then Mullen later.
Okay, that's exactly what I was thinking as well. I think that right now, week one, Casey Hayward will be that guy because of the experience and all the kinds of stuff, the knowledge that he has in the system, right? The only thing that's different about this year for Casey Hayward, it's not the coaching staff, because this will be his 6th year with Ron Miles and his 5th with Gus Bradley. I believe that week one, Casey Hayward is going to be our number one corner. Probably by like week 5, week 6, Trayvon Moon will take the reins on that. But we'll see about it. And then shout out to Manny. He says, how many combined sacks do you think we have? He says, I think 40 plus sacks. That would be crazy. 40 plus sacks, I believe. If we did something like that, I mean, let's be honest. Max can get around 10, round it up. Max can get close to maybe, I'd say I give Max 9. Unique can get around 13, in my opinion. Cleveland, good 7.5. I mean, we have the group to, if we really could, get 40 plus sacks. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think if we get that interior pressure, we're probably gonna free up the double teams from Klee and Yannick. And plus, dude, with Yannick and Josh Allen got 12.5 sacks off of Yannick getting to the quarterback. So he had no double teams on him. It was Yannick getting all the double teams.
Wow.
So we could probably have 7.5 sacks for Klee, probably.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Think by Tao says Icy needs to turn up. Is there a way that you could be able to do that, or?
I already turned it up to 200. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I turned it up.
Where you go? Maybe I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. What do you guys think we will go after a linebacker? Wait. What's up? Do you guys think we will go after a linebacker? There is a lot of good interior linebackers in the free agent class next year. I mean, I believe the biggest name is Dante Hightower, right? Dante Hightower is going to be a free agent next year.
Fred Warner too, I think, right?
Who?
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner, yeah, they're not going to let him go, right? Imagine. That'll be crazy if that happened. But I mean, next year you got to think about it. Morrow will be he'll be a free agent. So Divine Diablo, this is a big year for him, in my opinion, right? This is a big year for Divine Diablo, because let's be honest, Nicholas Morrow only has 1 year left, and 1 year it's do or die, basically. Either get your contract or we have your replacement right behind you, right? And who's to say that Divine Diablo doesn't replace Morrow in the middle of the season? I could see something like that happening, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I think Gus is trying to use him as a weapon like Cam Chancellor, but he doesn't want to put him at safety, probably because he wants to have 4 safeties and then more linebackers, maybe. Because if you put him at DB, he's gonna have a lot of DBs, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
And let's see. Hey, one of my favorite players you're totally sleeping on, Max, gets 12 sacks. I don't think anybody's sleeping on Max. 12 sacks is, I mean, that's real high, man. Real high. I think that Max can get somewhere close to, I give Max a good 9.5 this year, because, he'll just be that pass rush specialist. He'll come in on third downs. He'll come on every third down, fresh legs, just really trying to only have to get after that quarterback. 12 sacks would be crazy. 12 sacks would be insane. Who's to say that he doesn't get 12? I think that 12 or 13 is more like a number for a guy like Yannick Ngakoue. But, I mean, who knows, right? I love Max Crosby, man. I'm just glad that he'll be able to only come in on pass rushing situations where he doesn't have to really, exert his energy on first and second down, having to guard the run, and maybe now he can come in at a little bit of a slimmer weight so that he can really just get that extra bend that he needed, right? Because now Max Crosby, with him not having to guard the run on first and second down, he'll be able to just come in a bit slimmer, won't have to have that extra weight on him, because, he had to guard the run a lot. He was our opposite of Cleveland Ferrell. So maybe Max gets 12. But if Max gets 12, I would love to know what the rest of the numbers are for everybody else. I think week 3, week 4, Diablo becomes our will linebacker. That would be crazy. If by week 3 we're already giving the reins to Divine Diablo, either Divine Diablo had a crazy 3 games, or Nicholas Morrow is just not fitting well in the system.
Yeah. If he got like 3 interceptions and then 5 tackles for loss, then hell yeah, he's probably starting.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Let's see how many years we got for Kwiatkowski. I think he's our best linebacker at the moment. Nick Kwiatkowski has this season that's coming up and the season after that. Then he'll be a free agent. I can't agree with you though that he is probably our best linebacker on this roster at the moment. Yeah. Is he the guy with the most upside? No, because I believe that Corey Littleton can really be that guy for us. And as far as everybody thinking that we should get rid of Corey Littleton, it'll hurt us a lot to get rid of him. He has a lot of money tied up to this roster, man. He restructured 2 years in a row for us, so he has a lot of money tied up with this team. He said, a shout out to We the People. He says, the defensive tackle from the Chargers we signed might surprise us. I believe you're talking about Darius Philon, but I don't see it, man.
I don't know. He's been out of the league for 2 years, so you never know. But he might be cut.
Yeah, it'll be tough. It'll be tough. Like we said before, there's a lot of competition when it comes to this 3 technique room. Darius Philon is a true 3 technique. He's only about 6'2" or maybe 6'3". And I think he's 286 or 289. He has to compete with Kendall Vickers. He needs to beat out Kendall Vickers. He also needs to beat out Solomon Thomas, David Irving, and Darius Stills. I do not believe that he has any problems making this 53 or 55-man roster. I believe that the Darius Stills make this roster no problem. Anybody else wonder why Gruden hasn't done a presser after the draft? After the draft, it's a head scratcher. That's not like him.
Probably because Mayock wants to handle it. Because Gruden releases all the information when he talks. But it's Mayock that lies. So it's probably Mayock that's doing it for him.
That'll be that's interesting, right? I mean, I'm not really thinking about it too much because, like you said in that comment, Mayock, we've still been getting pressers from Mayock, right? So at the end of the day, Mayock is with Gruden every single day. I mean, they're in the facility every single day, whether it's studying tape or just evaluating what they have right now. I'm not worried about it at all. I mean, he's our head coach and Mike Mayock's our general manager, so I'm not too scared or anything like that when it comes to him not doing a presser. Would I like to see one done from him? Of course. I would love to see what he has to say about the draft, but I mean, I don't think it's anything bad because if we all watch those the call series, John Gruden looked happy and hyped up about every single pick.
Yeah. I think he might be doing presses when training camp starts or rookie mini camps, maybe. That's probably he's gonna do it.
And then shout out to Manny. He says, this is my stat line for Derek Carr. 68% completion percentage, 4,200 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 8 INTs. That's a good stat line. I mean, what would you give if a Derek Carr stat line prediction this season?
Yeah, I think it would be around that range, but he'd probably get 2 more touchdowns, 33 or 34.
Okay.
He got 27 last year and then 21 the year before, I think. So he's going to improve in this system, in my opinion.
Okay. I think I said it before. I'm going to give DC 4,400 yards, 35 total touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. I think that's a solid stat line right there.
So if he checks it down to Drake, doesn't that count towards his passing yards? If he checks it down and Drake takes it to the house for 96 yards.
Yep. Screens count, man. Screens count. Screens count as passing touchdowns, man.
Oh, nice.
He says, let's see. Happy Mother's Day. Without mothers, there would be no nation. That's a fact. And shout out to Luis for that comment, man. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. If you haven't said to your mother, Happy Mother's Day, man, go ahead, give her a text or something. she deserves it. Or if it's not your mother, the mother figure in your life, right? Whoever played that mother role in your life, man, just show them that they're really much appreciated. Um, let's see. This is a good question right here. Do y'all think we utilize Mariota at all? Peterman, before re-signing Mariota, was practicing pass catching. I don't know. It seems a little sus. I think we might use him like Taysom Hill. Wow, that's a big comparison. I don't think that Marcus Mariota has it in his locker to do what Taysom Hill does because I mean Taysom Hill literally does it all. Catches the ball, runs the ball, throws the ball. He does everything. He even blocks. I don't think that Marcus Mariota has that in his, in his bag to be able to do that. But I do believe that hopefully this year we do see a lot of Mariota being used more. I had made a video a while ago saying that I really do believe that Mariota can probably help fix these red zone issues, right? I mean, when it comes to I believe the 10, 8, 12-yard line, I believe that we should be looking to have Mariota in just to run that read option, right? That read option can be very, very effective with Marcus Mariota. And a lot of people feel like with Marcus Mariota in, the defense knows that he's going to run the ball or that we're going to run the ball. And in fact, I mean, Marcus Mariota is a competent quarterback. Like he can throw a pass, he can complete a pass. It's not like he's trash at throwing the ball. He's a pretty good quarterback at the end of the day. Some teams would have him as their starting caliber quarterback. I mean, the Washington football team, I believe, tried to trade for him earlier in the offseason. And I mean, inside that red zone, just imagine if you had Drake to the left of Mariota and Josh Jacobs to the right of him, and Mariota's running that read option. Who is the defense going to go to? Because they still have to look at Darren Waller. You still have to pay attention to the fake handoff to Josh Jacobs, and then you even have the screen master behind you with Kenyon Drake, right? I mean, it's really, really tough if you had a mobile quarterback inside that red zone to really just confuse the defense, give the defense something else to have to game plan for, Let's see. He says Julio Jones is washed. What do you think about Julio Jones? What do you think about the whole Julio Jones scenario, man?
Yeah, I think Julio Jones, he's not washed. He's just injured or injury prone. And then his cap hit would only be like 7 million this year and then 11 million next year. So it wouldn't cost that much.
Right. Yeah, he only has 3 years left on his contract, man. And the Falcons really, really need that money. So
1 million
for $7 million this year. I would take Julio Jones. It would just be up to how much it would cost, or it would, how much we would have to give up, right? I believe that some people have maybe having Carl Nassib and like a 4th or 3rd round pick being bundled up to have that. That would be cool, right? But I mean, Julio Jones, I mean, he's a very, very, very good player at the end of the day, right? 110% is the top 10 receiver in this league. And I mean, you have Julio Jones with Darren Waller, with Henry Ruggs, Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, and then you still have Hunter Renfrow as a very, very big problem in the slot. It's tough, man, because Julio Jones, I mean, just think about it. Julio Jones really had to be that guy years and years and years before they had Calvin Ridley, but he was that guy for Matt Ryan. And when you have to be that guy consistently, you're going to get the ball more, and you're going to be in the opportunity to get hurt. And that's what happened, right? I mean, nowadays he'll be on an offense that he won't have to worry about having to get the ball all the time because, I mean, there's only one ball to go around, and we have Josh Jacobs, we have Darren Waller, we have Kenyon Drake, we have Henry Ruggs, Bryan Edwards, Hunter Renfrow. He won't have to get the ball every single play, but when he does, we know that he's going to do something good with it.
Yeah, he's gonna get in the red zone probably for fades. He's gonna catch everything. You saw him at against the Patriots like last year against Stephon Gilmore. He grabbed that from him. Like
that was ridiculous.
Gilmore couldn't do anything, bro.
Just completely just snatched it out of his hands, man. Let's see. Dr. Flame says 85 yards per game, and this was his best catching percentage year with 75% catch rate. I mean, man, Julio Jones. Let's be honest. Julio Jones made Matt Ryan look a bit better than what he was. Matt Ryan is he's a good quarterback, right? Don't get me wrong. Matt Ryan's a good quarterback, but a lot of the times Matt Ryan would either completely whiff on a throw and Julio Jones would just make up for it with an incredible catch or an incredible play. But let's be honest, at this point of his career, I believe that just like many others in this chat probably would as well, Derek Carr is a much better quarterback than Matt Ryan.
Yeah, facts.
Let's see. We need to score 34 points per game. It's a high-power offensive league. Do you think that this offense can score 34 points week in and week out?
Yeah, I think it's possible because if we would score like 35 a game, we'd probably get a lot of turnovers. And the Browns scored 42 on the Titans, and they just ran the ball, and they got turnovers off of it. They got fumbles out of Myles Garrett getting the sacks.
That's very true. And then hold on, I really like this comment right here. He said, "I'll take Julio for that price." Facts. That's less than who New England is paying for Aguilar, right? We all wanted us to re-sign Aguilar for up to $9 million, right? Now, just imagine getting Julio instead of Aguilar, but for $7 million this year. I would take that price, and then you're not paying him over $11 million 2 years after that. That is a very, very good deal. Obviously, the only thing is that Julio, you would need to give up some value for just to get him, and for Aguilar, it was just simply you just needed to re-sign him. But we all wanted to give Aguilar up to like $9 million. Who's to say that $7 million for a Julio Jones this year isn't on the back of John Gruden's mind, just making him go crazy?
Yeah, and he's actually a number one, unlike Aguilar.
Yeah,
Aguilar, I don't know. What is he gonna do with Cam Newton? Cam Newton's gonna run the ball the whole time,
right? And then shout out to Vital with the $4.99 super chat. He says, "I would be okay with Julio, but we need to see what we have in Edwards and Ruggs. I think bringing in another alpha would stunt them." And you know what? I was really, really, really thinking the exact same thing that you just said. I was like, bringing in somebody after we just did some crazy high investments, 2 receivers in the top 80. I was thinking the same thing, right? But Julio Jones, we don't know for how much longer he's going to be in this league. We don't know if he's going to want to retire soon. So maybe we only need to pay him for 2 years, right? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we only need to end up paying him for 2 years because maybe he retires on the last year of his contract. But I was really thinking, does Julio Jones really stunt the growth of these guys? When you're talking about production, of course, it's going to take away a couple of reps, a couple of balls that are going to go to those sides. But the thing is that the exact same thing that we wanted with Richard Sherman, right? We knew that Richard Sherman would have came in and he would have took all the reps on that outside corner spot opposite of Trayvon Mullen. But we were okay with it because of how much he could have taught to our younger guys. What's different with us doing that with Julio Jones? Now, by no means do I want us to give up a second or a third or a first-round pick for Julio Jones. But I think that if you can package up a Carl Nassib, a fourth and maybe a third throw in there to just make the deal go by, why not, right? Because he would bring this offense to an elite level, right? Just imagine having to guard a proven Julio Jones, a proven Darren Waller, a proven Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, Hunter Renfrow, and that's without speaking about Ruggs and Edwards, right? That would be ridiculous. The amount of times that I think that Julio Jones would actually just allow us to really just go 5 wide and truly just spread this team out, I believe he can add an extra, aspect. But by no means am I saying go out and make this trade right now, right? I do believe that there's another team out there that's probably willing to give up a second and third for a Julio, right?
Probably like the Ravens, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the Ravens, maybe even the Patriots, even though they just paid $13 million to Aguilar. But who knows, right? Who knows? That would be AFC. That would put AFC West on notice. I'm not saying go grab him, but at the same time, I am not opposed to it at all. At all. Imagine Julio Jones in a Raiders uniform. That would be sick. Let's see. John Brown is neither an upgrade or a downgrade. In my opinion, let's be real. Aguilar was nice. Brown could fill that same role. 100%. But just imagine, right? You're able to get this is what I like, because right now, when it comes to that offensive wide receiver room, there's really no drop off when we take guys out, right? let's say Ruggs needs a breather. Okay, there's no drop off between Ruggs and John Brown in terms of their versatility, right? John Brown can do a lot of the most versatile things that Henry Ruggs can do, right? And you let's say you take out Brian Edwards for a breather. What if you do have that Julio Jones, right? It's kind of crazy to think that we can just do things like that with just having to pay a guy $7 million, right? But I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. Julio can teach the young wideouts. Yeah, he really can. But like I said, I don't want us to be giving up a second round pick or first round pick for Julio Jones. Maybe if it took a third round pick to make the trade go through, maybe I'd reconsider. But I really like where we're at, man. I really do like Brian Edwards and Henry Ruggs. And in my video today, I had those two as my starting number 1 and number 2 wide receivers this season. I really do believe that these two guys are going to have a very big impact on this season, man. Let's see. The real question is trade for Julio or target Godwin in free agency next year. Well, the thing is that if your guys like Ruggs and Edwards pan out to be what you think they'll be, you won't have a need to.
What the hell? Yeah, I don't know what happened, guys. I'm gonna call Andy real quick. I think he left the studio on accident, or his computer died. I think. Let me call.
I don't know what just happened.
Yeah, I was gonna call you. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what just happened, man. But okay, whatever. I'm back. Let's see. It said, "Lol, what the hell?" Lol. I mean, yeah, you could have just went on there and talked, but I really didn't know what the heck just happened. It just like logged me out. But thankfully, the good thing is that it didn't end the stream, so I was able to just pull right back in. But enough of Julio, man. Let's really talk about that offensive line. What do you think? Do you think that this offensive line will struggle next year?
I mean, do you mean pass blocking wise though?
Pass blocking and run blocking. What do you think?
I think run blocking wise they're gonna do better, but pass blocking wise, depends, because if they do more play action, I think they're not gonna struggle that much with the run game dominating. But if you're gonna do like an empty set, it would probably struggle.
Okay, and I can see that. I really could see that, but thankfully we do run that that traditional John Gruden power that power run offense, right? I mean, you have your fullback, you have your running back, you're good, right? And if we really do believe that we can just run behind Alex Leatherwood, and in the process you have Alec Ingold chipping Alex Leatherwood's guy, then going up to the backer, that could work. It could work. But as far as my only concern when it comes to this offensive line, it's actually not Alex Leatherwood. I really want to see if being sandwiched between Denzel Good and Richie Incognito, I really would love to see. I'm not worried about Andre James, but I really want to see where our center is going to look like next year, because we've had probably the best center in the NFL for years. And, we were spoiled by that. And now, I mean, like I said, I really like Andre James. I really don't believe we'll have any problems there. But when it comes to Andre James, I mean, it'll be different. I mean, it'll be different than Rodney Hudson. Maybe it'll take time for Andre James and Derek Carr to build that connection. Maybe it won't, because, those two guys are out there on the field a lot together. And shout out to Derek Carr for putting all these little practices together for him, man. But out of all 5 offensive linemen, who do you think will struggle the most?
Out of all 5, maybe it would probably be Leatherwood at first. Like, remember Colin Miller? Like, he used to struggle in the beginning with the speed rushers, and then the power rushers he was fine with. I think Leatherwood's gonna struggle with the speed rushers. Like, he doesn't know all the NFL moves yet, like the speed rusher moves, like those cross chops that Yannick does. So he's probably gonna struggle a little bit against those speed rushers.
As far as the guy, I mean, like you said, in the run blocking, I don't think we'll struggle. I think we'll probably do a lot better this year. Pass blocking wise, if I had to pick somebody who would struggle, in my opinion, it actually would be Andre James. I believe that Andre James will be fine in the run game because you all know that centers, especially in the zone blocking scheme, double team a lot. So I don't think that in terms of run blocking, he will be fine. I think that Andre James will be fine in run blocking, especially with the zone running scheme. I actually think that Andre James might struggle having to go up against these true good defensive tackles in our division. I mean, Linval Joseph is a true freaking run stuffer, and having Linval Joseph in your face at
And
all
Jalen
times,
too.
because
Exactly.
you have to, exactly, Linval Joseph is a true nose. He loves going head up against that center, and he dominates centers a lot of the time, right? That'll be my thing. Hopefully, he can really pick it up in terms of that, having to go up against some of the best at his position, right? Andre James doesn't really scare me, but if he were to struggle a lot at the beginning of the season, I mean, we have guys. We just drafted a 7th-round guy, Jay Morris said. We also have Nick Martin, who's been proven in this league to be a serviceable center. So, do I think that week 1 Andre James will be our center? Of course. But if he were to really, kind of shit the bed in the beginning, I do believe that there'll be no problems with them pulling him out and having Nick Martin out there.
Yeah, I think they drafted Morrissey and then brought in Nick Martin to help teach him like the calls and all the techniques. So it's probably gonna help him a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I really just like where we're at in terms of this team. I mean, without this offseason, right? Just look at where we would be. Without this offseason, it would still just be Cleveland and Max or Cleveland and Arden Key. I mean, it would our linebacker room without this offseason, you had Nicholas Morrow going into free agency. I mean, this offseason has just done wonders. And honestly, the best addition has been Gus Bradley. I think you can agree with that one as well, right?
Yeah, I could agree. Even the position coaches he brought in, we basically brought in one of the best DBs coaches and then one of the best linebackers coaches.
Exactly. I mean, Richard Smith. I mean, if we want to break down we could actually talk about that, right? The resumes of our new staff, right?
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about Ron Miles and I'll talk about Richard Smith, right? Richard Smith has been in this league for a long time. He's been in this league since before me and him were born. He's been in this league since the 90s, bro. And he's been really, 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 he's been prone to help guys make good careers out of themselves. He helped Von Miller. He helped Vic Beasley become the sack leader in 2017. And you have to think about it. Richard Smith was only with Vic Beasley for 1 year. The 1 year that Vic Beasley and Richard Smith had together, Vic Beasley led the NFL in sacks. After that, Vic Beasley, we all know it, has been on a decline, right? And then when it comes to Von Miller, I mean, dude, Von Miller, I believe, could probably tell him himself that Richard Smith has been huge for the success of what he's done in this NFL, right? I mean, with us being able to bring in all the guys that Gus Bradley wanted, really, really, really helps me reassure ourselves that we're in good hands with Gus Bradley and we're in good hands with Ron Miles and as well as Richard Smith, man. But shout out to Dox. He's in the chat, man. Really, really big shout out to him. But man, let's talk about it. It's your turn. Let's talk about Ron Miles, man. What are your words?
Ron Miles, he actually coached Champ Bailey like in the early 2000s, and I think he coached him late in his career actually, and then he went from Denver to the Chargers in 2013, and he's been there since Gus Bradley, and then he developed Casey Hayward. He brought him back to form after that Green Bay after his time with Green Bay, and then he developed Jason Verrett. He developed Michael Davis, and he just brings good technique, and he's a great coach, and he brings that swagger to that defense. And he actually made that Jack Boys defense. If you don't know about that 2018 or 2017, 2018 defense,
The Chargers
had, the Chargers secondary, and he had Derwin James, Casey Hayward, Michael Davis. Who else? Who's that guy again? Phillips, from the Patriots. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you have to remember, what was the guy that Ron Miles and Gus Bradley really helped mold? I believe his name was Jaleel Adai. Dude,
Yeah.
the Chargers was a beast. Was the Chargers? He was a beast. When he went to the Eagles, he was poop. I mean, these guys are just really, 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 really talented in terms of just being able to evaluate talent and really knowing how to get these guys moving and taking steps forward in their careers. And I'm really excited that we have these guys, man. I mean, it's such a big impact, and it's such a big thing that we were able to bring every single guy over. I mean, and you saw it. I mean, Gus Bradley, I think he gets talked about from Casey Hayward and Yannick Ngakoue as one of the most loyal coaches and one of the most loyal staff members in this NFL. And he showed it by bringing in all his guys from the Chargers. He didn't want to make a name for himself, bring new guys in and take all the credit. He knows that he needs these guys to succeed. And I really like that from him, man. I really, really like it. Let's see. Shouts to Dr. Flame again. He says, who's a better wide receiver based off skill? Edwards or Ruggs? And are we confident in Ruggs' route running ability, or is he the next Marquise Brown or even John Ross? I'll go first on this one. Based off skill, I mean, Ruggs has things that you can't teach, right? His vertical is insane for 5'11" or 5'11.5/ 6 foot. His vertical alone is insane. I believe 42-inch vertical is crazy. Not only that, third fastest player to ever record in the combine in the entire NFL, right? Those two things alone, that's a skill, right? Those are natural talent abilities, and out of those two guys, I would have to give it to Ruggs. But if you were to ask me, am I confident in Ruggs' route running ability? Flat out, yes, I am confident in his route running ability. I mean, a lot of his routes were stunted because last year he probably couldn't cut in and out of breaks a lot after week 1 after getting injured against Carolina, right? I mean, you need your knees in football, especially if you're a wide receiver, especially if you need to make sharp cuts in and out of breaks. Do I believe that a guy like John Brown is going to help mold Ruggs into being one of the best wide receivers we've seen? Of course I do. But do I like Edwards just as much? Absolutely. I think Edwards could be a wide receiver 1 in this league.
Yeah. In my opinion, yeah, I would choose Ruggs too, because you can't teach speed, but with Edwards, you could teach jump ball ability. But you can't have the same vertical leap as another player, but you could teach that jump ball and the fades. And you could also teach route running. So that's Ruggs for me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not mad at it at all, man. I really like where we're at, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, we have a ton of weapons on that offensive side of the ball. I mean, you just look at it. You have a proven guy in Hunter Renfrow. He's a proven slot machine, literally. I mean, you have Darren Waller, in my opinion, second best tight end in the NFL. I mean, Travis Kelce just went on a tear last year, but I believe that Darren Waller is probably our best offensive player, and I think anybody can agree with that. But you just look at what we have on this offensive side of the ball. You have a Darren Waller, you have a Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, and then you have 2 star running backs in that backfield. You have Josh Jacobs, and then you have Kenyon Drake. On top of that, you have an extremely good, versatile fullback, and then you probably have one of the best backup tight ends that you can have, one of the best blocking tight ends that you can have in Foster Moreau. Matchup or roster for roster, if this offense is played to perfection, there's not a lot of teams that'll be able to hold up with us.
Yeah, we just don't have to run the same. If we don't run the same things every time, that's Gruden's problem. He runs the same thing every time. He just has to run different things.
Yep.
And then he has to let Carr do his thing sometimes. Like, if it's a no huddle, just let him do it. You saw in that Week 11 game, he went off on Kansas City on that no huddle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And really, really quick for all the people in the chat, man, I want you guys to give us right now who do you think will have the biggest impact on that defensive side of the ball out of all the people that we have on the roster? I want to hear your guys's. I mean, we got a Trayvon Merrick. We still had Jonathan Abram. We added Yannick Ngakoue. We added Divine Diablo. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Who will have the biggest impact on that defensive group in general? Not defensive line, not linebackers, not safeties. I want to hear what's that one player that you think will have the biggest impact for our defense next year. And don't say Gus Bradley. We got a Morag from Daniel. We got a Jonathan Abram from EC. Yannick and Morag. Okay, Yannick and Morag. I don't know why they're talking about tight end still. I do believe that, in my opinion, Abram will be that biggest impact for us. Yeah. We have a lot of more. We have Hayward is going to have the biggest impact. We have, again, Yannick and Morag. We have an underrated one with Raid the Tape and says Cleveland Furrow. I like that, man. I really like that. I really, really do like that. Because Cleveland Furrow can really – he can help mold that defensive line to gel perfectly all together, right? Because of how versatile he is. He can play that defensive tackle. He can play that edge. I like that one. Cleveland Furrow is a bit of an underrated one. But if I had to give mine, it would be Jonathan Abram. What would be yours?
Yeah, it would probably be Abram too. Because you saw that Tape Don't Lie episode. He's doing a Gus Bradley, like, part 2 breakdown, and he was saying that the strong safety and the will linebacker have the most responsibilities because they cover the flats and the middle of the field and the seam too. So Abram's gonna have those responsibilities.
Shout out to OG Dano. He said Abrams will have the biggest impact when it comes to penalties. Man, don't say that, man. We believe
bench, dude.
We believe
if that.
And then let's see. What do you think about this? Moore can get 8+ picks with this with our new defensive line. I believe that if he gets 8 picks, defensive player of the year. What do you think?
Yeah, facts. I think that would have to happen because that would mean that he would get he would have like 8 picks half of the season. Like he'd probably be responsible for like whenever Mahomes drops back, he would probably get all those interceptions from Mahomes because he's passing all the time. And plus, we got this AFC West. We're going to see a lot of tight ends. We're going to see a lot of speed. And the Chargers and, the Chargers, Herbert and Mahomes are going to be passing all the time. They're not going to run a lot at all.
Exactly. Now, shout out to J Dog. He says, I see Darius Stills making the roster. What do you think about that? What do you think? Do you think that Darius Stills makes that 53 or 55 man roster?
Yeah, I think it's possible because if he's that hype and he has that underdog mentality, he's gonna flash in camp. Then I think he's gonna make it. You already know Rod Marinelli probably loved him coming out of college, and then Gus Bradley's gonna put him in the best position to succeed, and he's gonna have a great relationship with Gus Bradley. So we're gonna see him flash in camp, then he's gonna make the roster. That's what I see is gonna happen.
Now, you guys have probably heard me. For those of you who were on the live show that I had, I believe it was 2 nights ago with Docs, we talked about this, right? I really, when it came to Darius Stills, there wasn't many people that talked about him a lot. I really, really like Darius Stills, and I really like that we got him as just an undrafted free agent. I think that that's probably one of the best things that could have happened, right? I really thought that he was a lock at the end of the 5th round. I thought that he wasn't going to make it out, but we saw a lot of players that, our Darius Washington, I thought that he could have been like a 3rd or 4th round pick, and he went undrafted, right? As far as Darius Stills, for those of you guys who maybe don't know him or would like to know a bit more of his play, I believe there's a 12-minute film session of just his plays against Baylor last season. And it was ridiculous, man. I believe the first night that I watched it, I sent like Ice Nate and Graph a video. That man missed like 3 or 4 sacks that game, but also had 2 sacks. And his on one of the sacks, he had a bend that looked freaking unnatural for a defensive tackle. He is crazy good. He is really, really good. And what I like about him the most is his hand speed and his hand violence. He does not have
Graded.
his hands do not stop moving. Every single time they just keep moving and moving and moving. And he is real aggressive with his hands, and I really like it. As far as him making this roster, 1,000%. I think that he'll probably make it over Kendall Vickers and Darius Phylon.
Yeah, because if you have fast hands and you're going against centers and guards, I don't know if they're gonna compete like that. So if he has that fast hands, he's gonna get past those guards and centers really fast.
Yep.
Like 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds.
Let's see. Also, Morg will take the pressure off of Abram, so Abram can be in the box, and Morg can be the person who is good in coverage. Exactly. That's exactly why I feel like we all wanted Merrick in the first round, but thankfully he was there in the second. But that's exactly right. I mean, last year we saw a lot of Jonathan Abram, playing deep high or a bit of out of position, right? And the way that I always like to see it, right, was last year we saw Abram only get 2 interceptions, but those 2 interceptions were from him playing inside of the box. The one against the Patriots, he was inside the box. The one against the Falcons, he was inside the box, right? I mean, what I really, really like about Jonathan Abram is that, like you said, having that good, safe coverage blanket behind you with Trayvon Merrick, it's going to leave him to be a bit more comfortable and let him play a little bit more free. And that's all you can ask for a guy with Jonathan Abram's skill set, because his speed, he is very quick. Not only that, he can hit. We all know that. And he just is a guy that wants to make plays, right? And I believe that I said that a couple of times. It looked like sometimes, yes, Jonathan Abram would miss tackles, but a lot of the times it looks like he was the only guy on that defense last year that wanted to make a play, right? I mean, a lot of the times we saw guys that it looked like he didn't even care to be out there on the field. And Jonathan Abram, yeah, he missed a couple tackles. But like you said, with him being in the box, it's going to help him even more. It's going to help him 10 times more, man. And I'm really excited, man.
Yeah, shouldn't be making tackles. Like if your front seven's not making the tackles, but you have your safeties making the tackles, that just shows that your front seven's the reason why he's missing tackles.
Exactly. That bend will be hard to defend stills. And the thing is, though, is that, like, you don't usually have a bend on a defensive tackle. But he's a defensive tackle that has bend, which is kind of ridiculous. That's why maybe I believe someone said that after the Raiders did draft him, that it was good because he got drafted into a system that had similarities to a 3-4. But maybe somebody said that that he would fit better in a 3-4 system, Darius Stills, because then he would be a 3 technique. Be like that 3 tech defensive end in that 3-4. But I think that actually in this system, he'll be just fine. I really do think that he'll be able to really flourish with Gus Bradley and Ron Marinelli, man. You have to think about it. This is not only just a newly revamped defense, but this is basically a new staff, right? I mean, Ron Marinelli was only here for last year. We obviously just got Gus Bradley, Ron Miles, Richard Smith. This is a new staff, man. It's a completely new staff, and I like it, man. It's when our defense last year was broke, I feel like we fixed it. In the sense that we had new additions to every single level of that defense, whether it was Merrick and Casey Hayward, or whether it was Divine Diablo and Max Richardson, or guys like that, or on that defensive line where we overhauled the defensive line, man. And I'm just excited, man. I'm just really, really excited.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be used a lot on those bear fronts. So if we're on the goal line and then we could get a safety out of that, that would be crazy.
Yep.
He's a third defensive lineman, and then you got like Yannick and Crosby on the edge, maybe on the goal line to pass rush.
Yeah. It's interesting. It really is. And shout out to Agent Red. He says, Littleton definitely didn't look like he wanted to be out there last year. We need the Rams version this year. I don't believe that he looked like he didn't want to be out there. It just, he said it. He said it the first press conference that he had with the Raiders once he got here. He said that the defense was definitely different than what he was used to. And this year he'll be on a defense that isn't so crazy complex and just overall stupid, because that's exactly what that defense was. I mean, we saw him last year when it came down to Rod Marinelli calling the shots. He looked a bit more comfortable. He looked like he knew what he was doing, and the system was just it was just brought down to a minimum on plays, right? And Littleton this year, I believe that we'll get a very, very, very good version of Cord Littleton this year. But let's see. Right, the tape says, weird how we kept our defensive line coach, but brought in Bradley's whole staff over so that Bradley's defensive line coach was the odd man out. I do believe that, because you have to think about it. Didn't Gus Bradley say that one of the big reasons why he did come was because of Rod Marinelli? I mean, Rod Marinelli is a very respected guy in this NFL, man. He's known. I mean, he was the reason why half of our defensive line became Cowboys defensive linemen last year. I mean, we had Malik Collins. We brought in David Irving. I believe we were linked to Robert Quinn. It was a lot of guys that we could have gotten last year because of Rod Marinelli. And to be honest, I mean, that defensive line that they had last year, I mean, I really don't believe that all the success on that defensive line was all Gus Bradley, but I also don't believe that success that they had was all on their defensive line coach either. I mean, Joey Bosa, great talent. Melvin Ingram, great talent. But what do you think about that? What do you think about the whole revamp staff on that defensive unit?
Yeah, on that presser you're talking about Gus Bradley, he was saying that that's the reason why he wanted to come over. And plus, remember Rod Marinelli was there in Tampa Bay when he coached there in 2007. He was a linebackers coach, but he never got to have a chance to coach with him, and that's probably the biggest reason why he wanted to coach with him, and he heard good things about him.
Exactly. But I mean, as far as him being the odd man out, of course, I mean, you have a well-respected guy with Rod Marinelli in this NFL. It'll be tough. I mean, it's not like we had a good defensive backs coach or a good linebacking coach. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, I'm just glad that where we're at right now is I feel like we have a lot of opportunity to be a very successful defense this year, man. Let's see. The only thing about this defense is that it struggles with mobile quarterbacks. Not really.
You just have to spy. That's it. You just
not really. Because, I mean,
we got Divine Diablo to spy.
You got Divine Diablo. If you really, the only way that I would still accept for a guy like Melvin Ingram to become a Raider would to be, because if you think about it, after we drafted Malcolm Kuntz, I had to look into his tape. And Malcolm Kuntz's stature is very similar to Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram is only 6'2" and 265 pounds. Malcolm Kuntz is 6'3", but he's only 255 pounds. So if we were to bring in a guy like Melvin Ingram to teach Malcolm Kuntz how to play that spy, how to play that outside rusher, that inside rusher. I mean, there was plays in 2017, 2018 where Melvin Ingram was a middle linebacker for the Chargers on the goal line. You don't see that kind of versatility very often. So if we could have a guy like that versatile with the Malcolm Kuntz, if he can, turn into that would be amazing. But do I think that'll happen? Sadly, I don't, unless you brought in a Melvin Ingram to teach Malcolm Kuntz. But yeah, let's see. D Money Mooring should fix that, bro. We need some nicknames for all these new signings that we got, man. That'll be tough though. I mean, we need a new nickname for this defense entirely, man. Because we didn't, this defense was trash when there's no nickname. Your defense is a scary defense when it has a nickname. You got the Legion of Boom. You got the Jack Boys. We need to make one up for this one. I mean, a good player is a monster when they have a nickname. Like the slot machine for Hunter Renfrow. That's a good nickname.
Yeah. I think Gus Bradley's probably going to come up with it, maybe. Or Ron Miles. Because Ron Miles is the one that came up with Jack Boys.
Oh, okay. The Star Troopers? Nah, that is whack. That is whack, man. I bet you I bet you if there was a player that came up with it, it would be Damon Arnett. I feel like Damon Arnett would be the one that would come up with something like that.
Yeah.
Smoke Man Joe says, do you guys believe we make any more moves on the defense? What do you think?
Wait, he said offense.
Oh, on the offense.
Yeah, it would probably just be Julio Jones. Or if we you could probably bring in another offensive lineman like a guard, but it would probably be wide receiver if we were being realistic.
Yeah.
Or then you never know.
Yeah, I really do believe though that if we were to bring in another offensive player, I think you're right. I think it would actually only be Julio, or a guard, right? Because that guard, obviously, Nick Martin can play guard. Obviously, John Simpson is a guard. Probably James Morrissey can also play guard. But we also have Lester Cotton, who is also a guard, right? But we do need a more maybe proven guard to be that backup role. But as far as an offensive guy, like you said, man, I really just think it'll be maybe an offensive lineman depth, maybe a Julio Jones. That would be crazy. But if we were to get a Julio Jones, chat, I want to hear where you guys would rank our offense, or where would our offense rank in the NFL if we were to add a Julio Jones? What do you guys think it would rank at? If we added a Julio Jones, that's a top 5 offense in my opinion. Let me know where this offense would rank if we had a Julio Jones. And also, after that, where do you think this defense ranks after this whole offseason wrapped up, man? Let's see. We got a top 10. We got a top 5. Top 10 because of the line. Okay. Number 5. No on Julio. Anthony's just like, nah. Anthony's just like, nah. No Julio. Let's see. Top 5 or top 3 at least on offense. Top 12. So you think that somehow our offense gets worse?
Hell no.
We were a top 10 offense last year.
Yeah, with 27th run blocking.
Yeah. Legion of Zoom meetings. This guy. They were top 10 with on offense without Julio. So with Julio, they'll be top 10. There you go. Defense top 15. Defensive line top 10. Wow. Let's see. 3 rated off season with Julio, 6th ranked D offense. I think that's what you meant to say. I mean, bro, this is a very, 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 very good. Oh, he said no, top 10 offense and top 12 defense. Oh, man, if we go from the 30th ranked defense to the 12th, that would be that would be amazing.
He's proven it. From 2016, the Chargers defense was ranked 29th, and then they went up to like 3rd in 2017 his first year when he got there.
And I really do believe that you're right on that, right? I mean, because I feel like this defense, right? We've been seeing such a trash defense for so long that I think now we can really just. I really feel like when Gus Bradley got there, he had less talent. When he got to the Chargers, he had less talent than what we are giving him right now with the Raiders, right?
James in 2017, he got him in the next year after that.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I really do think though that we have more talent. We're offering him more talent right now than what he had with the Chargers. So I really do believe that our defense could make a massive leap like that, going from like 13th to like a top 16, top 15 defense. I mean, I really, really do think that we can make a huge, huge leap. But it's really up to if Gus Bradley, Ron Miles, and Richard Smith all do what they do best, right? And that's just, teach guys how to get better each year. And then Agent Red says, I just want to see us tackle and get off the field on 3rd and long for once. Man, that's a fact. I believe each game, obviously we had at least 1 3rd and long. I'll just look at my brother or whoever I was watching the game with, like, bro, they're going to get it. They're going to get it, bro.
You got no pass rush. You're not going to get off the field on 3rd down. And your secondary is not going to hold it for 15 seconds when there's no pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, it was just, it was tough, man. And then we got Dr. Flame that's over here trying to convince Anthony for Julio. He says Julio is cheap. He says I barely have nails left. Oh man, I haven't been excited to watch this defense season and expected disappointing always. Man, that's so sad that we just expect such trash play from our defense, man. Like that sucks, man. Um, let's see. Julio would teach our young guys. He would only help, not hurt. Exactly. And for $7 million, you're adding one of the best receivers to ever play this game. Seeing Lawson get toasted, man. Lawson needs to go. Lawson needs to go. He saves $1 million. He saves $1 million. Can you believe that Melvin Lawson is getting paid $1 million to do what he did last year? It's ridiculous.
I'm not paying him that. I'm not paying him that. I'll just cut him. I'd rather have him eat than him, definitely.
Yep. Bro, I mean, it's ridiculous, man. I mean, as far as money-wise, I think that Lawson has to go, and it only helps us that he has a 2-game suspension. And as far as Jalen Richard, if he wants to stay on this roster, he'll need to take a $2 million pay cut, in my opinion, to stay on this roster, because $3 million is just a lot of money. We look at other guys on this roster that can get a pay cut, or maybe even take another restructure. Hopefully we can find a trade partner for Carl Nassib. At this point, I take a 6th, maybe a 7th round pick. Let's see. He messed that dude's eye up. What are you talking about? I think you might be talking about Arden Key, where he kicked Deshaun Watson in the face.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would be tough to choose between Amik Robertson and Nate Hobbs. Both are dogs and hardworking. Yeah, man, there's a lot of DBs in this room now. I mean, I said it before, I feel like maybe Amik Robertson could be like kind of the odd man out, although he is on a very cheap 5th-round rookie contract. But, I mean, does he fit in the system? What is he, 5'8.5", 5'9"? It's hard, man. It's really hard, man.
You could say that he could rotate at slot and safety, because Desmond King did that. It's just that he was taller by like 2 inches.
And also, Desmond King was a bit more built. Yeah. If we sign Julio Jones, I think John Brown might get cut. If anybody were to get cut, in my opinion, it should be Zay Jones, or if we were to cut a wide receiver, it would be Zay Jones or maybe Willie Snead. Even if Lawson takes a mil pay cut and plays for free, I still don't want him on the squad. Exactly. We got competition. Everyone is going to be battling for starting spots. Yep. That is 100% the truth. And I feel like and that is why we are going to have at least one huge baller on that defensive tackle position. I believe we're going to get one real big baller on that defensive tackle position, because all those guys there all are on 1-year contracts, want the money, and need to ball out for them to get a long-term contract, whether it's with us or a different team. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. And shout out to the 82 people that we have live in here, man. Go hit that like button. Really, really do it. It helps this channel a lot. It helps this channel grow, man. And if you haven't already subscribe to Icy Nate's channel, man. He just hit 500 subs today. So that is a huge milestone, man. But yeah, like I said, hit that like button if you can, man, if you're in the live right now. Let's see something. Sheldon Richardson. Sheldon Richardson is another 3 technique, though. That's what sucks. Is that Sheldon Richardson would be another 3 technique. What are your thoughts on Sheldon Richardson?
Yeah, he's solid overall. He is a 3 technique. He's good at both pass rush and run stopping, but I don't think we really need another 3 technique. Even if it's competition, I would just take another 1 technique.
Do you think, though, that maybe Sheldon Richardson would play that 1 technique?
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah, me neither. It's tough because, I mean, if we really wanted a good 1 tech, there was a couple on the market. I mean, what was his name? Sheldon Rankins was on the market, right? he would have been a good one technique if we really wanted to grab one. So was the other guy, Dalvin Tomlinson, that signed with the Minnesota Vikings. He was a good one technique. But at the moment, I feel like we have us a solid 8 out of 10 run stopper with Jonathan Hankins to play that one technique spot. But the bad thing is that he's only a run stopper. Like, that man cannot pass rush to save his life. But who knows, man? Who knows? Cut or trade Rashard and Lawson to get Ingram. I mean,
you could say that.
Okay. I mean, if we got Melvin Ingram, that would be crazy, man. We would literally become the Las Vegas Chargers. Like, bro, that would be crazy. Rashard gotta go, making too much money to be the third string back. And this running back room is crazy, man. Ragas is a bit underrated, in my opinion. I think Thomas will be an impact player. Okay. So what if Solomon Thomas has 6.5 sacks this year? What do we do? Do we re-sign him to a long-term deal?
Depends, because I don't think he would. Depends, because do you think he would sign for cheap, or would he ask for big DT tackle money?
I feel like if he had 6.5 sacks, I feel like you can get him on a 2-year,
$15 million,
$12 million.
Oh, all right.
I would do that.
Yeah, same. I would do that.
I feel like no one ever talks about Jefferson in all the chats. What are your thoughts? So as far as Quinton Jefferson is a guy, I think we talked about it earlier in the live for a brief second. He was a guy who played with the Seahawks, made his money out there playing 3 technique, right? He was a pass rushing 3 technique for the Seahawks. Then was signed by the Buffalo Bills and was played out of position a bit, right? I mean, he signed with the Buffalo Bills, then played a lot of that nose guard or one technique, however you guys like to call it, basically head up on the center, and he was really taking in a lot of those double teams, right? But he still had a couple sacks. I think it was maybe 2 or 3, maybe 3.5 sacks. And, he still made some more money because he ended up getting signed here with the Raiders. But naturally, Quinton Jefferson, he is a 3 technique. Now, what he produced for the Bills actually did show that he could play that nose guard, that nose technique, that one technique, right? He showed that he could, get those double teams. Do I see him doing that in the system? Probably. If he wants to be on this team, he probably will have to play that one tech because of how loaded that 3 technique group is. So I believe that if he does want to be on this team and find a, chance to really make this 53 or 55 man, I think that he will be playing that one technique spot.
Yeah, he probably beefs up in the offseason. You never know.
Maybe. Hankins just needs to eat double teams. Yeah, if Hankins can really eat up those double teams and free up Nick Wachowski to really fill in those gaps on run plays, I'm A-okay with that because, they are real good. I have all the confidence in Nick Wachowski to really strive in this defense. My buddy in Seattle wasn't impressed when I asked him about Jefferson. Well, is your buddy in Seattle really a big football fan, or is he just a casual? Lawson and Nassib need to be gone. The thing is with Nassib is that when it comes to Nassib is that he has money tied up now that he restructured. So if we were to cut him, we would owe him money. So we can't just get rid of him, right? Because he ended up saving us $5 million this year. Now, would there be a team that would probably be willing to trade a 7th round pick for him? Possibly, but I don't see us giving him up for a 7th round pick. Let's see. How many UDFAs will make the 53 or 55 man roster? What do you think about that, Ice-Nate? Because I have about 3 that I think could.
Yeah, probably be Stills, Ragus, and then probably 3. It would be Stills, Ragus, and then maybe Bushman, because Bushman's pretty solid. He played solid under Zach Wilson. Just imagine him in Carr. He could be a 3rd tight end to help block, and then like if Waller got injured, maybe I'm not gonna put it into existence, but if he got playing time, he would be a blocking tight end, and then he could be that Foster Moreau or slash Jason Wynn replacement. And what's called Derek Curry. I don't know, is his contract like is it guaranteed?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so we could probably just cut Carrier and then let him. We could use him as a third tight end to block and receive.
Those were exactly the three that I was going to name, but I was also going to say maybe Max Richardson because of how little depth we have at that middle linebacker spot. But I like this comment a lot. How much would you pay Jacobs when his contract ends? Me personally, running back is a very replaceable position in this league, and it's not of high value anymore. But I believe that now you showed Josh Jacobs what you're willing to pay a running back, right? I mean, we showed that we're willing to pay $3 million 1 year and $8 million the next. I believe that if you can get Josh Jacobs on a very, very team-friendly, I would pay him up to $8 million a season.
Yeah, I think that would happen because he's just a team player. He doesn't care about touchdowns. He just cares about winning.
Yep. And I mean, if it came down to it, I would pay Josh Jacobs. I would give him like a 3-year, $24 million deal. I would do that. Let's say Anthony says Jacobs might walk. Good teams don't pay running backs big money. 5th-year option, franchise tag a couple times. They're gone after 7 years. That's yeah. That's the history with running backs in this league, man. Let's see. Luke says, you think we overpaid Drake by a little? I don't, because we gave him $3 million this year. We gave him $3 million this year, right? I mean, this year. Go ahead.
Yeah, next year the cap is bigger, so we're gonna have more money.
Yep. So it's like when it comes to Kenyan Drake, I think that this year you got him on a real steal of a contract because you're only going to pay him $3 million this year, right? And like he said, when the cap goes up, when we can afford to pay him $8 million, we will, right? There's no problem with that. And you have to think about it. We're set to have almost $45, maybe $50 million next year in cap, and that's regarding all the signings that we already made this year that have contracts for next year. So let's say if this year we didn't restructure Derek Carr or we didn't extend Derek Carr, and you do it next year, you can have close to $65-70 million next year. It's real interesting in the direction that we're going as a franchise, man.
And Waller too, remember?
Yep.
After those tight end contracts that New England paid like $13 million, he's probably gonna get $14 million.
At least.
If we extend him, it's gonna free up cap.
At least, man. Players that got tattoos of their team ain't leaving, man. Yeah. I really like that with Cleveland Furrow, Max Crosby. Apparently, Trent Brown had one. Josh Jacobs. All these guys that have tattoos of Raiders, man, those are guys that want to be here for the extent of their career, man. And I really like seeing that kind of stuff. I'm not saying go out and get a tattoo to prove to fans that you're loyal to them, but it is what it is. Let's see. If none of our DTs work, it's gonna suck, but I think it's okay because I heard the DT class next year is stacked. It's very stacked next year. It's very, very stacked. So yeah, I'm not too worried, but let's see.
Yeah.
Harsh, but I love Josh Jacobs, super beast. I'm not with handing out big money to RBs though. I hope he accepts a team-friendly deal. I think he will. Once it came down to that day that we had to do that. Maybe what we could do is do what we did with Colton Miller and give him an extension before his contract is even up. Show him the money now so that he won't really be looking for it later. Kind of like the thing that we just did with Colton Miller, right? It's interesting. It's interesting. FAB, FTV, man, that is how it is. Lawson is getting a tattoo as we speak. Dude, I don't care if Lawson tatted his body with Raiders shields all over him. You got to go, bro. He's not good. He's not good, man. I don't want him. But, shoot, we've been on here for about an hour and a half, man. Shout out to everybody who done tuned in. I think we're about to end this one around this time because I believe there's another Raiders channels that's going live right now. So shout out to those guys who are about to go live. I believe it's Sanjeet and Honcho, so shout out to them. Go tune into their live shows. But we've been on here for about, like I said, about an hour and a half. Really do go subscribe to Icy Nate's channel, man. Growing a good growing channel. Just hit his 500 subscriber mark today. And go ahead and shout out your Instagram page too.
Yeah, my Instagram is Raiders Rhythm, and then my YouTube IC_Nate.
There you go, man. IC_Nate. For all of you guys who don't know, man, he helps a lot of these channels behind the scenes, especially mine. Like, well, basically every day that I drop a video, man, I just hit him up. Yo, can you make this thumbnail? And boom, he has it for me. So real big shout out to Icy Nate, man. He's huge in the success of a lot of these channels that we have going on. So just go ahead and support him and show him that same love that you show all these other pages. But yeah, I already dropped my video for today. Are you going to be dropping a video today or just a live?
I'm probably gonna have one tomorrow because I'll tomorrow.
So there you go. He might have one tomorrow. I dropped one earlier today, so I was just talking about who I believe week 1 our starters will be on that offensive side of the ball. So if you haven't already watched that video, please go ahead and watch that video and support the channel, man. But besides that, Raider Nation, that'll be it for the live. Shout out to Icy Nate. Really appreciate him coming on in such short notice. But that'll be it, man. Shout out to you guys, but I'm out, man.